Okay, good evening, everyone. This meeting is in session. The time is now 7:07 p.m. I am Tamara Thomas. I apologize for the late start. As you can see, I'm doing double duty, doing my role as secretary and trying to chair this meeting. So I apologize for the late start. Oh, no one can hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. And online, you can hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So I am going to try to have this meeting move as quickly as possible. And, I want to be fair to people who have arrived on time and those that have business before the board today. So we're going to try to get out of here as close to 9 o'clock as possible. I already asked Ms. Frazier to reach out to members to show up tonight so we can make our quorum. I can only do somebody, yeah. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. So I asked Ms. Frazier to reach out to members to make sure that we have quorum tonight. And I've also asked her to reach out to agencies to make sure that your reports are in. And so because of that, in writing for people who come in person to have and take with them and read. And so because of that, we're not going to have online reports tonight, only in-person reports, because we want to keep this train rolling. Also, I'm hoping we have roll call by the time 8 o'clock rolls around. If we don't have roll call, there's not a lot of business we're going to be able to get done. I'd like to try to get all the general public business out of the way so we can get to the board stuff so that we can stay on schedule. So we will start with, is Reynoso, is BP? So we're going to start with the chairperson's report, but I do not have a report as a chairperson because I'm secretary. He's not here, and neither is the first vice chair, second vice chair. So what I've done is I decided to give the time to BP Antonio Reynoso, Brooklyn Borough President. So he'll have 5 minutes to address the room if he is online. Is he online? Is BP Reynoso online? Yeah. No, I'm asking you if he's online. Do you know if BP Reynoso is online now to speak? BP Reynoso.
Please speak as your president.
Oh. Okay, so he's going to come in person. No volume? Okay, it's going to be that kind of night. All right. So since we're not doing a chairperson's report, I will turn over the floor to Ms. Frazier for the district manager's report.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Could you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah.
Good
This
evening.
mic is better. Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Fraser.
Good evening. We're just trying to get ourselves settled here.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone. And thank you all for attending tonight's meeting. As usual and as always, each month I give an update on what's happening in the office. Activities in the office remains the same. We continue to serve the community, fielding telephone calls and walk-ins. We have had quite a few visitors walking into the office over the past few months. Most of the complaints coming into the office centered around abandoned vehicles and housing issues. We will continue to work with the agencies to address those complaints. We have also made tremendous progress with the transcribing of the meeting minutes. For those of you who sit on various committees, you know that we have been short-staffed for quite some time, a very long time, and we are backlogged. But we have made tremendous progress. Still a long way to go, but I'm pleased with the work so far and remain hopeful we will complete all backlog meeting minutes by the end of February or mid-March. You should have a number, I think, 2 months or 3 months of minutes to approve tonight. Our second vice chair is absent, so in her absence, I will give you an update on our proposed move to the new building, 1107 Rogers Avenue. We did sign off on the contract, and we now await a response from the Office of Management and Budget on the funding so that we could start the build-out process. The landlord has already signed off also, so we are now waiting on the monies to start a build-out process, and hopefully by the end of this year, we were able to move into our new space, but we remain hopeful. We're trying to make the best of where we're at right now. As you know, we had a major environmental issue there in the board's office. But we continue to work. The conditions have improved a little, but we do need to get out, especially when there is a sewer trap inside of the office that we have to put up with on a daily basis. 2 weeks ago, we did a community walkthrough with the commanding officer and several officers from the precinct. The walkthrough was based on numerous complaints we received from the 4-in-1 Block Association. We have made progress since the walkthrough. I know, I think 1 or 2 trailers were removed, and we are in the process of communicating, thanks to Councilmember Faralo's office. One of her staff did attend the meeting, and I know that that staff is in touch with one of the problematic trailers that we have in that vicinity. So she's working directly one-on-one with that the occupant of that trailer, and we remain hopeful that he and his family will be removed. We're also working on a trailer that's parked on Clarendon Road. That person have up until next month to have that trailer removed. It seems as though it's becoming the norm for people to just, get these trailers and come into our communities and make it their place of abode. We have to remain vigilant if we are to take a stand for our community. So those are some of the things that we've been working on. We are also in meetings with SUNY Downstate, as you know. One of the wings is, there's a proposed closure for one of the wings, but Community Board 17 stand with the hospital. We are prepared to get in good trouble, necessary trouble, to help save the wing of that hospital. And we will work with whatever decision the SUNY Downstate makes to ensure that the nurses and doctors that serve this community, they have jobs and they can provide for their families. And that actually ends my report. If you have any questions, I'll be more than willing to answer. If not, I yield the floor back to Ms. Tamara Thomas, who is doing an excellent job tonight in the absence of our chairperson and our first and second vice chair. And according to our bylaws, the absence of the chair, the first and second vice chair, the secretary of the board chairs the meeting. So please give her your support, and we thank you for doing a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you
It's
all.
not necessary, though. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the committee reports. At this time, I'm only asking committees who have new information to come up and give a report. If you do not have anything new to report, please stay seated. Yes, please. So we have a bylaws report from Ms. Julia James.
Good evening, everyone. In accordance with the bylaws, tonight I'm presenting some amendments that are suggested, proposed, and we will vote on them next month, but just to bring it to your attention as required by the bylaw. So very quickly, the first amendment, which they've all been sent out to you, is that we need to correct the bylaws that now you can only serve 2 terms because we changed the term to 2 years. And it was an error, correct? We need to correct an error that said you could run for 4 terms, which was 8 years. So we restored it to 4 years. So it's just a correction. The second amendment is to clarify that the district office has the responsibility to generate the minutes and not the secretary. The third one has caused a lot of problems because we could not remove many members who failed to show up from the board. So we are clarifying that if you're absent for 4 times during a 12-month period, that we will take steps, the board will take steps to ask that the borough president remove the member who is absent for 4 meetings. And then fourthly, with regard to having annual reviews of the staff, it's now going to be incorporated into the bylaws. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you, Chair James.
Any questions? Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, seeing none. Any other committee chair? Is there a question online?
Yeah, you said that. the
Could you state your
secretary-
name for the record? Sir, could you please state your name for the record? Because these do need to be turned into public minutes.
Mary Background.
Sir, your question, your name and your question?
You said something about who's supposed to take the minutes?
So if you're asking about the minutes amendment, the bylaws wasn't clear. It could have been read that the secretary had the responsibility to actually prepare the minutes. And so we wanted to make it very clear, it's not the secretary's role to do that, but the board staff will do it, but it's the secretary's responsibility to ensure that it gets done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none. Any other chairs who have new news to report, please come up. Okay, going once, going twice. No other chairs have anything to report. Well, that's good. No news is good news. All right, so we are going to move on to the agency report. Will the first agency please come up? Are there any agencies that have any announcements? Please come up. And again, if you can make sure to please state your name clearly and your agency before you start the report. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Stephanie Easton. I'm the branch manager at the Rugby branch of the Brooklyn Public Library.
Good night, everybody. My name is Donette Riker. I'm the Assistant Branch Manager, East Flatbush Library.
And we're here with just a few updates from your local branches. First, we wanted to highlight a new initiative that we're doing called Browse the Branches. There's flyers in the back. So it's a challenge to New Yorkers to visit all 62 of BPL's branches throughout the year. And you can pick up a passport at any of BPL's 62 locations and collect stickers for each one you visit. And the first 100 people to complete the passport will receive a limited edition BPL Ambassador Library Card. And there's some other prizes along the way as well.
Also, we wish to highlight that the Center for Brooklyn History is, which was formerly known as the Brooklyn Historical Society, is part of BPL, and it's now free and open to the public. And CBH, which is known for short, offers free public tours of Brooklyn is exhibition Friday afternoons at 3 p.m. And groups can also reach out to the center to request a private tour for other days and times. You can also use CBH's vast Brooklyn history resources in the Othmore Library. And
We cannot hear you.
No. Go ahead. I muted her by mistake. Muted her by mistake.
Yeah, could you repeat that, please?
Yes, on Mondays, Mondays, East Library.
You're not speaking into the mic.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
hi, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. So yes, I just wanted to highlight specifically at the East Flatbush Library on Mondays. On most Mondays in the remainder of February and also in March, we're having a sound and healing meditation class given by an instructor. And also on Wednesdays, we have a fiber arts program that alternates. 1 week is crochet and 1 week is embroidery. And if anyone is interested, this Saturday, we have a Japanese inking class. But again, all this information is provided on the calendar in the back. And
Yeah, and then I just wanted to say at Rugby tomorrow night, we're having a jazz event with a local jazz guitarist, Mr. Richie Nix. And he's going to talk about the history of jazz and have a Q&A. It's at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. There's a flyer in the back. We also have a healthy eating workshop, City Harvest, which is continuing into March. It's weekly. And free tax help at the library, flyer in the back. And I think that's all. Does anyone have any questions? Thank
Okay.
you.
Any questions online?
What times are the crochet classes at the library?
oh, so the crochet classes, it takes place on alternating Wednesdays from 4 to 5:30 at East Flatbush. That's 9612 Church Avenue.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? What's the address?
So the address is 9612 Church Avenue, 11212.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
What's the number to the library?
So that is 718-922-0927.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no further questions, we are going to have the next agency come up. No takers? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's all right, a little early, but good. Okay, everybody welcome Captain Moody. Is that right, the Captain Moody?
That's correct. Good evening, everybody.
On.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain. Wait, can you hear me? All right, it's this one. I got you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Captain Moody. I'm the executive officer of the 67th Precinct. Basically, I've been assigned to Brooklyn South for the last 10 years. Since being a captain, I've been to the 7-6 precinct, 6-6, 6-0, 7-2, and now I'll be joining you guys in the 67th precinct. I'm looking forward to working with everyone here, okay? For the most part, 2023, we had a phenomenal year, crime-wise, and we're looking forward to do the same thing for 2024. So far this year, we're down 14% overall in crime, right? We're down in shooting incidents, 83%, which is 1 versus 6. We're down 67% in homicides, 1 versus 3. Down in grand larceny, 6%, 67 versus 71, and down in GLAs, stolen vehicles, 11%. Right now, we're only up when it comes crime-wise, I would say in basically in robberies, felony assaults and burglaries. And we have a strong plan in place in regards to addressing that and making sure that we catch these perps and make sure that they're held accountable for their actions. I won't go too much into detail in regards to this. I just want to know if anyone has any concerns or anything like that going on in their areas. We could touch on that.
There's an online question. Please go ahead.
All right. Okay.
Oh.
Yes, there is.
Okay. The community is experiencing an epidemic of illegally parked commercial trucks, trailers, and cars on residential zone streets. Why is this being allowed to take place? NYPD is neither ticketing or towing these vehicles, thereby fueling this illegal behavior. Please advise on how to raise the profile of this issue with local officials and representatives.
Well, when it comes to the commercial trucks, trailers, or vehicles, we address it as we're informed of it, which is basically by 311, right? So if you have this issue, you put in the 311 complaint, we respond to that location, and we basically summons it and or tow it. The issue that I've seen across, I'm not gonna speak necessarily to the 6-7, but what I've seen overall in Brooklyn, especially when it comes to the larger trucks, is I know we had an issue in regards to location for storing these larger trucks. That's a borough-wide issue. That's actually a citywide issue where we're only able to do certain operations, right? Because we don't have enough lots to store these trucks. But whatever issues you have in regards to it, just hit the 311 and we'll respond and address it, okay? Any other questions? The gentleman in the back?
Can you please come up to the mic, Mr. Westcott, so that everyone can hear your voice?
Thank you very much.
All right, the name is Westcott. Last week, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
I lived on East 52nd Street between Avenue D and Clarendon Road.
Mm-hmm.
I had my car parked in the front, 682, I had the car parked.
Mm-hmm.
And whilst I'm inside, something told me to go outside. So I go outside and I saw this gentleman, I have to say a gentleman, a homeless guy with one of these push carts coming down the block. The next thing you know, the whole thing just fell over on my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to him, I said to him, what you gonna do about it? The guy knows he's homeless.
Yeah.
So he started acting very radical, so I said, okay, I called the cops. What do you believe? Nobody came. 9:30,
Mm-hmm.
9:30 that night, the cops called me. I want to know, do I still want them to come?
Yeah.
I didn't understand that because I said to them, I said, I could have been dead and buried and come back.
Okay.
So I just want to know, what's, I understand they probably had an emergency, but still.
But you
Okay?
said it was last Friday?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was right Friday.
It's like the 16th, right?
One minute.
What time was this?
It was about 5 o'clock. I know for sure it was over 5 o'clock.
Okay. And you called 911?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna talk to you afterwards.
Yes, sir.
Overall, when it comes to something like that, the response times, right? That's the main issue in regards to how long it took them to get there, correct?
Yes, sir.
That response time obviously is unacceptable. I'm not sure exactly. I can't speak to it because I'd have to go back and look at what was going on that day, because I'm not gonna give you misinformation,
All
right?
right, thank you.
But
Thank
that
you, sir.
response time is absolutely unacceptable, and we'll take care of it, all right?
All right, thank you.
The individual that left that message earlier, it said, please understand that this issue is raised at every meeting. If you can go, if you're able to like basically give me specific locations or specific incidents that you're talking about, that'll actually help, as opposed to, this is real, like a real blanket statement. So that way I can look into whether or not there is a situation that you feel wasn't addressed. Right.
So, not to cut you off, sir, thank you very much for taking the time to come here today. But because you do require, specific information, we do have to sort of move on to.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, but. you know,
Absolutely.
Yeah, usually what we ask people to do is to speak to you guys in the back of the room, but
Yeah,
he's
that's
not here
perfect.
to do that. So,
Mhm.
I guess,
Well, you
can
could
you
always
take the
show up to the
person's
next
information?
community council
Yeah,
meeting
if you
and we
call
could
into the
always
board's
address it
office,
there.
and
Absolutely.
they can pass that information on to
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for your time,
Thank you
okay?
so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. All right, are there any other agencies in the house? No other agencies? All
Yes,
right.
another agency is here. I'm sorry, I was raising my hand. I didn't want to be rude. How you doing? I'm actually new to the 17, to District 17. My name is Natasha Steve. I'm the director of the new East Flatbush Family Enrichment Center. I just basically wanted to tell everybody that we will be moving to 3521 Church Avenue in the spring, but we will be doing work in the East Flatbush community. And I just wanted to introduce myself and just welcome myself.
Okay, can you put your information in the chat, ma'am? So that we have it and we can pass it on to the community?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Are you an agency, ma'am?
What
Are you an agency?
services will be offered through the community center, Ms. Esteva?
Okay, this is a family enrichment center. It's actually community led. So what we're doing now, we're getting community members to become a part of our of the FEC. They will basically co-design it. The approach is community ownership, respect, and equality. We focus on parent cafes, protective factors, and it's all based on the community. I'm basically just like the front person, but I'm gonna walk them through building this community, and we focus on the strengths of the community, not the weaknesses.
Okay, so if you could put your information in the chat so that everyone has your agency's information, we'll be happy to
problem.
share that with the community and so that the people online have that as well. Thank you, Mrs. Stava. Are there any other questions for Mrs. Stava? All right, seeing none. There's someone in the audience. Are you an agency, ma'am? Okay, please step up to the lectern. State your name and your agency and then your report.
Good evening, CB17. My name is Arna Lipkin. I am with Interborough Development Consultation Center, which is a mental health clinic, one of 5 clinics. We are located at East New York and Utica Avenue. Our clinic has been around for many years. We serve 0 and up, all kinds of mental health services, including psychiatric evaluations and so on. I'm actually part of a new program, new meaning 2 years old. This is called Connect. We do mental health, wellness, and special services to enhance mental health. So basically, we help out whatever the needs are in the community. In particular, we are focusing on housing, benefits. We do vocational assistance, work readiness. We also do food. If someone is in between their food stamps, we can come in and just get a bag of food, become a client. We actually go to the client, and it's primarily Crown Heights, but we also serve this zip code a little bit. But if you are in Crown Heights, we will come to you. We will meet you where you're at. And we actually also have special events based on community feedback. So we just did today a food giveaway at Major Owens Center. It was really successful. We partner with the Carrie Gabage Foundation, Health First, and Durrell. Our next event is coming up for spring. It's called the Spring Fling Resource Fair, taking place on Thursday, March 28th. We're partnering with Diaspora, which is right next door to our office. So I'm going to go around. I'll be happy to pass out some of these flyers. Our main goal right now, because of our community surveys, is getting resources out to the community. So we'll be focusing on that for the next while, partnering with a lot of other agencies. Any questions? I'll be in the audience for a while. Thank you.
Are there any questions before she leaves the stage? Any questions for her? No? All right,
Thank you
seeing
so
none,
much.
she'll be circulating the flyers. Thank you very much.
Can her contact information go in the chat as well?
Why don't you give me a flyer? I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna walk over. I'm gonna put this in the chat information. Hold on a second.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so we are going to move on to the community session. So if there are any members of the community that have information they'd like to share with their community, please come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I'm
Good evening.
Allison Martinez, co-founder of Brooklyn Level Up. I just wanted to let you know about some upcoming events and opportunities we want people to be aware of. So tomorrow, as part of our wellness project with the citywide participatory budgeting project, we have Black Men Speak, the groom sessions. This will be from 6 to 8 p.m. at FNS Barbershop. Men in our community will be able to have free haircuts from 6 to 7, as well as a wellness workshop that's geared to balancing their responsibilities as fathers and just men in the community. We really hope people will come out to take advantage of that opportunity. Then on Saturday, Heard at Home will have a community conversation on the fight for housing. That will be from 2 to 4 p.m. at HCC, which is 3807 Church Avenue. This will be a lot of people talking about basically what actions people can take in the community to get housing. Then there will also be on the same day on Saturday from 11 a.m. or the 1 p.m. session, a Black History Month family cook-off for healthy food. You can win prizes, gift cards for the best gumbo that you can make that's healthy. So we really want people to come out and support that. Also want to let small businesses as well as community residents know that Citizens Committee March 1st deadline is coming up where you can apply for grants for your small business to do community work or as a neighborhood or block association to do a community project. You can get $5,000 for your small business or $3,000 as a community. You don't have to be an organization to do it, but it's important that you at least try to get money for funding for projects that we need. I also wanted to just let people know that Brooklyn Level Up is starting to work a lot on environmental issues and concerns in our community, including the fact that you may not even know that East Flatbush has the 3rd highest lead contamination content in the soil, as well as air quality issues. We are actually actively looking for schools who are willing to get free air filtration and monitoring equipment so we could start to get a base of data and information in our community about what's going on with the air quality. So if you are part of a public school especially who is interested in getting free equipment, monitoring equipment, please email us at info@bklvlup.org. And lastly, this past Thursday, I participated in a Sears project to talk about the new project that's coming in the community at where the Sears building was. We really need to get involved with CB17 and not just let it be a CB14 that is knowledgeable about what's going on. There's going to be a 30% of 30% of affordable housing set aside for the community, and we need to make sure that residents in our area are able to get that affordable housing. And it starts by understanding what the project is and getting involved. So please reach out if you want more assistance. That's it.
Thank you. You know, while we're in the community session, this was supposed to be done by Mr. Lewis, but he's not here today. So I want to present a plaque in honor of Black History Month to former distinguished board member, Mr. Lloyd Mills, who couldn't be here today, but is online. Thank you, Mr. Mills, for your service to the board during your time.
Good evening, everyone. Just to read what the plaque says out loud is on behalf of Community Board 17 of Brooklyn, our deepest appreciation. We hereby honor Lloyd Mills in recognition of your many years of visionary guidance, exceptional leadership, and and unconditional commitment serving as the chairperson of Community Board 17. There are many leaders in the world, but only few will leave a lasting impression. We thank you for your service to the East Flatbush community. From the members and the staff of Community Board 17 dated February 21st, 2024, sorry. All right.
Okay, next. Yes, please come up. Name and yeah.
Good evening, CB17. My name is George Hutchinson. I'm Executive Chairman of Race for Excellence. Race for Excellence is a STEAM-based group mentoring and after-school program for middle school age children. What they will be doing is designing and painting the bodies of 10-scale remote control cars, learning about how the cars work with emphasis on the motor. So we'll be taking them through a lot of science and mathematics. Then their reward, they think, will be driving, which is not easy. This is actually a program to allow children to practice using the tools for success: communication, public speaking, planning the work, working the plan, and dealing with the outcomes, understanding how to deal with unmet expectations, communication and teamwork. I have been in this community for some time, and although the program currently is based in Bedford-Stuyvesant, I would really like to bring the program here. Currently, right now, I have 2 job opportunities, part-time, working in an after-school program. For every middle school that this program is in, it will provide a minimum of 2 jobs. I'm hoping those jobs will be in the same community, starting with this one. So I am looking for middle schools to host the program. I am also looking for employees, again, 2 per school. And I'm also looking for support. This is a nonprofit program. Although the schools pay for the after-school program, the mentoring program is free. I'm currently running that at the Beacon Center in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I would like to bring a program to the Beacon Center here on Nostrand Avenue, and I need your support. So my website is www.raceforexcellence.org. That's raceforexcellence.org. And my email address is geehut3@gmail.com. Again, my name is George Hutchinson. I'm Executive Chairman of Race for Excellence. I'll be here until the end of the meeting. I have business cards, and I'll answer any questions that you have. Thank you very much for your time.
Are there any questions for Mr. Hutchinson before he leaves to the stage? I have a question for you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a summer program or is
No.
this an after-school program?
It's an after-school program. However, if there is enough interest in the mentoring program and enough participants, I do run a summer program.
And what's the age What's the age range?
The mentoring program is 10 to 14, and the after-school program is 12 to 14. I must be clear. The mentoring program is just for boys. I've come from a men's organization, 500 Men Making a Difference, out of Bed-Stuy. And as a result of my participation in that program, I started the mentoring program. I decided to open it up to after-school programs, and anyone in the school, of course, is eligible, boys and girls, for the after-school program. If there are a minimum of 4 ladies who are willing to dedicate 4 hours, 1 day a month, I will give them all the information and supplies needed to run a girls program, a girls mentoring program. However, I am currently only running a boys mentoring program, and the after-school program is for boys and girls. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. Any other community announcements? Sir? Either one. You can either come to the mic or you can do that. Okay, that one's not on, don't you? Just push the button on the top, slide the button on the top.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Akel Williams, and I'm the Director of Community and Culture for Caribbean. I just wanted to make
I'm
two.
sorry, your name again clearly?
Sorry, my
Because we
name
have
is.
to turn this into minutes, yeah.
Yes, my name is Akel Williams, and I'm the Director of Community and Culture at Caribbean. I just had two quick announcements in terms of events that we're having. On Sunday, the 25th, we have a Paint a Mass Caribbean Carnival Sip and Paint, and that's from 2 to 5 p.m. at our headquarters at 1399 Nostrand Avenue. That's between Martens and Linden. And on Thursday, February 29th, we will have our Winter Garden Fete Trees of Little Caribbean anniversary at the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens from 6 to 8:30 p.m. That's it. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Sir, would you mind providing your information so that it's in the chat? If you can go over to Mr. Afrey so he can put your information in the chat. Thank you very much.
What is the Caribbean?
Sorry?
What
that a question?
is Caribbean? And what type of organization?
I think they're asking you a question, but I can't hear what the question is. Can you repeat that, ma'am?
What type of organization is Caribbean? Is it the newspaper? Is it a community center? What type of
Oh, okay. She
organization
wants to
is
know what,
Caribbean?
yeah.
So Caribbean, it started off, it's a cultural organization that started in 2010. We are the ones that power Little Caribbean. So if you see any of the like I Love Little Caribbean signage, we're the organization that's responsible for it. And we like to say we sit at the intersection of community, culture, and commerce. So we also do some business support for small businesses. We work alongside the Chamber of Commerce, Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and also with SBS to support local businesses within the Little Caribbean footprint.
Does anyone else have further questions? And did that answer your question?
It wasn't clear, but I'll read it in the minutes.
Sorry?
I said it wasn't clear what he said. The line, it breaks up, but I will read the minutes.
Okay, you have a website, right, sir?
Yeah. So
Okay, so if you could just,
I'll give it to the gentleman having place in the
okay,
chat.
thank you, yeah. So the information will be in the chat and then you'll be able to find out more about it, okay? All right, if there are no further questions, let's see how much time we have left on this session.
Can I say something online? I had my hand up.
Oh, is it a question or are you a member of the community? You have an
Yes, as a
announcement?
flyer.
Okay, all
Yes.
right, okay, no problem.
Hi, good night, everyone. This is Keisha Sidney, Community Outreach for Sesame Flyers. Just with some quick updates, just as a reminder to remind everyone, the deadline is coming up soon for summer youth employment registration, which is March 1st. And the lotto would start 2 weeks later. So we just wanted to just remind people, if you do have kids between the ages of 14 and 24, please urge them to sign up, and they can also choose Sesame Flyers as their first option. Also, we are looking for organizations to participate with us to where we can place kids for jobs. So if you guys are interested, I will put my information in the chat, and I would also see you guys in person in a few. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other community members who have announcements to make? All right, this concludes the community session. Moving right along. All right, so I am going to do the roll call. And then I'm going to need a couple of minutes to count and see if we have quorum for tonight, because we do have some business we have to conduct. Okay. Kwame Afre. Brandon Alfonso. Brandon Alfonso. Tiffany Anderson. Berlot Antoine. Did she say she was going to be late or absent? Late? Okay, so I'll come back. Hassan Bakruddin. Hassan Bakruddin. Celia Bellin. Teresa Brereton. Teresa Brereton. Also, just to remind you, if you are online and you are not in person, you are considered absent. Very sorry about that, but I don't make the rules. Lewis Brown. Lewis Brown. Asher Cunningham. Excused. Roderick Daly is excused. Hermina Daniels. Hermina Daniels. By the way, am I pronouncing your name right? Is it Hermina or Hermina? I'm sorry? Herminian. Okay, Hermina Daniels. Sorry. They're present. Kayla Drageen. Kayla Drageen. Natasha Duncan. Natasha Duncan. Natalie Ferguson. Natalie Ferguson. Lena Fenderson. Pearline Fields. Pearline Fields. Allison French Kenton. Allison French Kenton. Charles Galbraith. Dr. Charles Galbraith. Rose Graham. Gail Granderson. Michael Hill. Julia James. Osney Lewis. Osney Lewis. Tricia Lewison. Brandon Matherin. Brandon Matherin. Edith Mark. Austin Nyla. Austin Nyla. Khadijah Oluwu. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Montserrat Oni. Montserrat Oni. Rodney Pepe Souvenir. Rodney Pepe Souvenir. June Prasad is out. Janice Reed. Janice Reed. Dr. Carol Renault. Aaron Roth. Menachem Shanowitz. Menachem Shanowitz. Antoinette Smart. Antoinette Smart. Simone Sylvester. George Tate. George Tate. Tamara Thomas is present, that's me. Heslat Tursun. Marguerite Viglianti. Jessica Welch. Jessica Welch. Kenrick Westcott. Kenrick Westcott is present. Ivor Wood. Ivor Wood. Or maybe it's not. All right. So at this time, we do not have quorum at only 19 members present. Which means we cannot conduct board business.
Madam Chair, I'm point of order, pretty privileged. Let us talk about a matter was.
Yes, please.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Thank you. I'll be very brief, Madam Chair, I assure you. The Shirley Chisholm Recreational Center is very important to me because I walked during the fall of 2019 to 22 members' homes to knock on their doors to ask them to support and vote in favor of the center. As many of you know, the process of construction has begun, and the city DDC appointed Lend-Lease as a construction manager. Just to give you a sense of how this works, when there is a construction project of that magnitude, 145 million, there are prime contractors. So for every trade, there is a prime contractor, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, just name it, whatever the trades are. The prime contractors, more often than not, do not do the work. They find somebody else to do the work, the subcontractor. The subcontractor, the first year, very likely doesn't do the work. They find another person to do the work. So when they have a chart like this, the people on top, the prime contractors, are the ones who walk away with most of the money, like the $1 million of profit. It's then gone to the subcontractors and then goes to the subcontractors, where the profit margin there is extremely much lower, okay? And it's at that tier, we hear about the 30% set aside, that's where it primarily goes. The issue is not about the MWBE set aside. The issue is about the prime contractors. At a meeting in January 18, 2024, when Lend-Lease was asked how many contractors of color were given prime contracts, the answer was no. I actually sent, just to get an update again in writing, I sent an email to McKissick asking, and there was no response. Let me see if I can get back here. Okay. So essentially, this is a meeting where they were asked how many prime contractors there were. And the answer, as I said, was none. So for electrical, protection, tiles, roofing, HVAC, all those trades, the prime contracts were not awarded. So the purpose of this resolution tonight, which we can't vote on, was to ask DDC to stop the process. So any further contracts to be awarded, we're in no rush, right? We're rushing, but not at the expense of this community. That any further contracts which need to be awarded, that they identify Black contractors who can do it. Over the past 30 days, I was able to identify Black contractors and help them get awards of 5 million, 10 million. These are Black contractors who were able to do it. So the question is, why was Lend-Lease unable to find Black contractors? We can't vote on it, but I'm just gonna, what the issue is. The issue is in our community, center being named after Shirley Chisholm, who was such a proponent of diversity and equity, right? We were being unjustly deprived to participate at that high level. It's very systematic, and that is the issue which we wanted to bring to your attention tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair James, for highlighting an important issue. I do recall there was a part of that discussion, and it sounded like there were, I don't want to say promises made, but it sounded like there were understandings in that meeting. So I'm not sure what happened there. So I'm not sure what we do at this point. Without quorum, we can't do the liquor licenses. We can't do the cannabis application. I mean, all right, so we'll move on to the legislative session.
Mr. Heredia? Oh,
So if there are any elected officials or their representatives, please step forward.
the mic seems.
Thanks. Could also just be my feather-light voice. There we go. Much better. Okay, there we go. I sound like a grown-up.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, I'm Councilmember Farah Lewis, representing District 45. I hope everybody is having a good start to the new year and enjoying Black History Month. And for those that observe Lunar New Year, I hope you are enjoying your holiday season. Just have a few updates for everyone. We experienced a major fire in the district about a week and a half ago, and we'll be launching a fire safety program in the district to make it a priority for folks in the community to be aware of how to prevent fires in your homes. The fire took place on Flatbush Avenue, in which 28 people were displaced, and we realized most of those people are migrants, and a portion of them were folks that were renting. So we will be launching a fire safety program. Move back. Is that good? Okay, I apologize. Next month, we will be hosting a FY25 PB meeting, and we will be announcing all the projects that will be on the ballot. So if you are interested in supporting us during our PB season, we would love your support for our expo programs that are coming up. You can reach out to Daniel from my office, who is sitting right here in the middle, in the front. Raise your hand so they can see that you're there. Thank you. And we would love your support during the PB process. Most of the projects appear to be in most of the schools in our district, and we're really excited about this process for the community. Tomorrow, there'll be a public safety meeting at Nazareth High School hosted with the 6-7 precinct. And it's in response to the many issues that we're hearing about in the community One of them being the RVs that was located in the Clarendon Road area of the district, and many, many more. We hope that you could come out to the public safety meeting. I believe that there's a flyer in the back of the room, and we hope that you could come out with some of your concerns. We're aware of some of the trends and not all of the trends, so if you could come out and provide us with additional information, we can do our due diligence to tackle any issues that's happening in the district. Also, for those that are experiencing a backlog delay from DSNY picking up trash due to the back-to-back storms in the last week, we're asking you to please contact our office if you have any trash that you need to discard. Also, for snow removals, we were able to have over 100 homes remove snow from properties of homes. So I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have a snowstorm in the near future, but if we do, Daniel from my office will be the point of contact. If you own a property in the district, we provide free snow removal and salt spreading in front of your homes. Coming up at the end of this month, we have a meeting with Governor Hochul's office, Hope Knight, from her office regarding the IBX proposal that the governor wants to push forward. The meeting will either be at PS 208 or PS 109. We'll have that information by this Friday. She wants to host the meeting in our district in order to have a conversation about the Interborough Express. If anybody is interested in coming to the meeting or want to be a part of the conversation, you could reach out to Daniel from the office and we'll make sure that you have the information to participate. I also wanted to share regarding the potential downstate closure. I know they're saying it's one building, but I am against the one building closing down. And at the moment, I was told by Chancellor King that the $300 million that they're going to be implementing into the transition of the building into Kings County Hospital would be their support to ensure that the hospital remains open. And I don't agree with that, because we at the city council already fund Kings County Hospital, and we know how much funds it takes to run the hospital. And we know that with the transition of those funds to Kings County Hospital, there's gonna be major issues with that. So I know I don't represent downstate, and that Senator Myrie and Assemblymember Cunningham and Waterman and Councilmember Rita Joseph, you can feel free to reach out to those elected officials, but I wanted to let you all know where I stand with that. And my goal is to continue to advocate to ensure that that one wing, we could find a way for it to consistently remain here and ensure that downstate remains whole. I wanted to quickly also share with all of you some of our legislative priorities in the council that you'll be hearing about in the press and so on. Some of our legislative and budget priorities is to revive the pilot program to help homeowners cover the costs to tree damages, addressing the HPD financing pipeline backlog, increasing funding to the CLT budget initiative that we've been trying to push for the last 2 years, investing in co-op maintenance and repairs for buildings where seniors with fixed incomes can get the support, invest in more affordable apartment ownership, increasing funds for programs targeting young home ownership programs in New York City, expanding funding for estate planning programs to prevent Black flight, deed theft, and deed fraud, increase funding for organizations to provide tax lien sale prevention outreach to Black homeowners, supporting organizations that help homeowners comply with Local Law 97, and food security for older adults and seniors in BIPOC communities. And lastly, support to decide the best approach to deal with Local Law 18, which is also called the Airbnb bill. So those are some of the initiatives and legislative priorities for us at the Black, Latino, Asian Caucus that participate in the City Council's caucus initiatives. Lastly, I wanted to quickly just address the issue that JL James mentioned earlier, and I want to thank her for her presentation today. And just wanted to share that I also participated in the Meet the Primes meeting that happened a couple of weeks ago. I did come a little bit late, but I did see the presentation and did make Lend-Lease and DDC aware of my concerns regarding what I saw in the presentation. And we did have a meeting after the conversation. And what I relayed to them at the Meet the Primes meeting was to provide a list of the RFQs. That's the folks that were interested in getting contracts with Lend-Lease that wanted to participate in the process to receive a contract, which we never received. But we did get a follow-up meeting, and in the follow-up meeting, DDC did share with us that they haphazardly put up a presentation that did not include mechanical engineering contracts that would be available to the community. So I know how important it is for us to ensure that it is our community that's building the Shirley Chisholm Recreation Center. We fought for it because we've never had it, and now that we do have it, we want to ensure that we are a part of the process. Part of us being a part of the process is us working together and having conversations. So I do want to thank Osni and Kwame for taking the time to call me, to jump on Zooms, so that we can hold DDC and Lend-Lease's feet to the fire. There's a follow-up meeting that's going to happen with the mayor's office and the contractors to ensure that MWBEs and WBEs are fully a part of the process. I would never allow a process where one company felt that they had ownership over a whole contract. If you want to be a part of the process to help me to support this initiative, I would love for you all to be a part of that conversation. So feel free to give me a call or email the office, or you could email Daniel. I would love to work with everyone to ensure that we do this together. We fought for it together, and it's our responsibility to hold people's feet to the fire together. I'm gonna just leave you all with that. And also the deadline, Keisha mentioned it from Sesame Flyers, March 1st, the SYEP deadline. I wanna encourage everyone, if you know a young person, please have them come out. And Black History Month, we have a teen open mic night where we're empowering and educating youth to understand their history. That's on Friday and Saturday at the Flatbush YMCA. Thank you so much for the time, Madam Secretary.
Oh, thank you. Before you leave the lectern, I did have a question for you. You talked about the MWBE's participation in the Lend-Lease contract. Do these have to be certified MWBEs?
They do.
So okay, so basically, if you are a contractor of color or a woman, unless you're certified, then you're kind of shut out of the running.
Not necessarily for every part, but most of the parts, there you have to be MWBE certified. We did get a list from folks that are part of this community board. And once they gave us the list, we shared that with DDC, and they shared with us that 2 of the groups or the companies that were on that list were not MWBE certified for what they wanted to participate in. However, the goal here is, even if they are not tier 1 companies and can't participate in a particular part, the goal is to have them participate in some part of the process. So we want to get folks to where they need to be. Even if they're not there right now, we want to get them to where they need to be before the project is over. But the goal right now is to make sure who can be a part of the mechanical engineering process, who could be a part of XYZ process. We don't want to leave anyone out. But I won't know if no one has a conversation with me. So as long as you pick up the phone and have a conversation with me, then we can make sure that we approach DDC and Lend-Lease and the mayor's office to make sure everyone is participating.
Okay, quick follow-up question. Is there a process in place to assist companies to get certified so that they
Yes.
can? Okay, so there is a way to streamline that so they're not left out?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I myself have sat with 2 companies in the last 3 weeks to help them through the application process, to make sure that they're getting their ID numbers, everything that they need to get in place. I don't have to do that, but I understand why this is very important. So we're more than willing to support. Daniel's here from the office, very technical, and we have people here from the office, and we're also working with the commissioner from the MWBE office to make sure that we get people fast-tracked as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned an Airbnb initiative. Can you explain that?
The Airbnb bill, local law 18. So basically, this was a bill that was put in by a former council member. It was voted on, I believe, 2020 or 2021. but it has impact 1-2 family homeowners who participated in Airbnb and they're not able, let's say they participate in Airbnb just to pay off their mortgages. They are no longer qualified to enter the process with the Office of Special Enforcement in order to register. So myself and some other council members have heard from some homeowners from East Flatbush, East New York, Queens, the Bronx, and they want a way for us to reverse it. Being that we can't reverse it as per the law department from the mayor's office, we're trying to look for a carve out for 1-2 family homeowners. So I could make you aware of what we're working on. We're trying to submit some bills now and trying to see how we can address it so that it doesn't further impact homeowners.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in. Are there any other members of the legislative body who have announcements to make? Please come up. Oh, Assemblywoman Chandler Waterman, thank you. Come on up.
Good night, good night, good
Good
night to
evening.
everyone. Good night to community board members, district manager, and everyone here tonight. So forgive me, I don't have on the right glasses, so I can barely see how half of y'all, okay? I see a little blurry. So I'm New York State Assembly member Monique Chandler Waterman. I represent District 58. Traditionally, January to June, we're in Albany for most of the week, from Sunday to almost Thursday. We come down to the district. So what I've done, because of that, I want to make sure that the community members know where to find me and have conversations. So we have every third Saturday, we have our 8058 Vital Voice Community Meeting. In January, we talked about housing, affordable housing, the Utica Crescents project. There is flyers in the back. They are hiring for vendors, for MWBEs, for contracts and employment. You'll see a flyer like this where you can register. Monoknok is a construction group that's organizing that. We'll make sure that when the application comes out for the affordable housing, that's on Kingsbrook Jewish Medical Center. Everybody knows what construction I'm talking about. It's going to happen in 2 years. So we talked about that, and I have housing Thursday still from 11 to 2 at 903 Utica Avenue. 718-385-3336 is the phone number for my office. So this month coming up, for our Vital Voice meeting, where we talked about updates from Albany, the legislative priorities, our task force that we have is 6 task force: public safety, mental health, education, faithfulness, small business, and nonprofit, quality of life. We'll do the reports of the priority. I'm happy that we have launched our quarterly report, so you get to see all of the accomplishments from the community members for the task force. We will have a digital copy of this.
For you?
So I will have a digital copy for everyone as well. I want to go over a couple of.
Can you mute these people? Excuse me, people, can you mute yourself? Please.
Okay, so just to repeat, the Assembly District 58 Task Force has published a 2024 quarterly report that goes over the priorities and the accomplishments of what's been done in the office. The task force comprised of people with lived experience from the community, anti-violence organizations, those who directly impacted by whichever task force they're on. So, is that better? Oh, wow. So I just want to make sure that people are getting up-to-date information. On March 16th at 12 p.m., we are having our next Vital Voice meeting. It's youth-led. It'll be at PSIS 66, which is 845 East 96th Street. This is something we do annually. We are going to make sure that it is small business support for youth and adults, youth development, entrepreneurship, and job opportunities. So there's a flyer in the back for that as well. To go over a couple of highlights from the office, I don't know if I spoke about this last month, but we were able to secure $5 million from New York State budget with the Public Safety Task Force that will go to the city, Cure Violence, DYCD, and we are gonna be working closely to make sure that that funding goes to the projects, the
appointed CBOs on the ground that is doing the work. How this came about was the Public Safety Task Force took over Albany. On June 1st, we kicked off Gun Violence Awareness Month. We had an introduction on the floor, a resolution to call June Gun Violence Awareness Month. We had the murder victims' families stand up, pictures of them in the hallway. So as you walk through the Capitol, you see those victims, you see the families, and you hear the stories. We then did 2 press conferences, and we ended with a roundtable discussion. Unfortunately, when families impacted, the anti-violence groups, they get funds, it's hard to procure those funds. We have Office of Children and Family Services, DCJS, Department of Criminal Justice Services, listen to our local organizations in our district, plus across the New York State, and discuss all the issues when it comes to procuring funds as a nonprofit, the issues and the gaps when it comes to gun violence, and making sure the New York State has a model example of what we're gonna do when it comes to gun violence on the state level. 30 days from that meeting, the governor announced, because of that roundtable, they'll be securing $5 million from the budget. So kudos to the task force and the community members. We also was able to secure $2 million for education. We gathered all the New York City DOE superintendents throughout the district, and I'm happy to say for the very first time in Community District 18 for the schools, Superintendent Terry, we were able to secure over $1.5 million, My Brother's Keepers grant, and with the high schools, Michael Pryor and the other high schools, we were able to secure a couple of $100,000 for there. Part of that $5 million, I forgot to mention, $1.5 million will be going to clergy, houses of worship, to support efforts there as well. So we do have a number of things going on when it comes to legislation. I may have announced this before, I'll just update y'all. The mass shooting bill, 4 more being murdered in one shooting incident, is now codified into law thanks to the task force and our office on December 8th. We know there's a lot more work needs to be done, because when 22 people get shot and only 1 person get murdered, it's still massive, it's still a lot, and we need to make sure that survivors is getting support. So we are going to continue working with the governor's office to make sure that that's happening in a real way. Daniel's Law Task Force, we want to make sure there's a non-police response. That is something that was passed. We are working, we have a task force member that sits on that from our mental health task force, and we are looking forward to pass Daniel's Law. This came about because Daniel Brood, just like Dwayne June from Flatbush Garden that was murdered by police, just like Shahid Vesta was murdered in Montgomery, Utica. We want to make sure that there's no more Black and brown or anybody that's being killed at the hands of police because of the lack of training they have. We need to have a mental health provider and peer advocates at the forefront of any conversation with those with mental health issues and concerns. So I think that is all that I have right now to report. I will stay to answer some questions, and I will also make sure the QR code goes out with our quarterly report, which will give you more details on what's going on in the office. I'm not sure of my time, so I don't want to take up any more. What is the format for me? Is any questions, or you?
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, you literally have 1 minute. No questions for the assembly person? All right, seeing none, thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. My office is 903 Utica Avenue between Church and Snyder. My phone number is 718-385-3336. And lastly, I will tell you that in June, elections are coming up. It's coming up for your state senators. It's coming up for your assembly member, like myself. Every 2 years we have to go. It's coming up for congressional. It's coming up for judicial candidates, judges. So we want to make sure that you're paying attention and stay tuned to get the information to make the best decision on who you want to best represent you. That's part of your job and your vital voice. So we want to make sure that everybody's included in the process. So thank you so much. Thank you to the board. Thank you to everyone. I appreciate you. New York State Assembly Member Monique Chandler Waterman, Dalton Robinson, my office manager is there to also answer questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jamel Thompson. I am constituent service for Councilmember Darlene Mealy. Our office is 400 Rockaway Avenue. Phone number is 718-953-3097. Just a couple quick updates on what we have. Every Tuesday, we have a housing specialist at the office, helps out with whatever agencies, problems you may have. Every Thursday, we have immigration lawyers helping out with any kind of services under that umbrella. Every first and third Wednesday, we have a pantry, food pantry in front of the office. That starts at 11 to whenever everything is done. Today was actually the third Wednesday. So we had it today. This week, this Sunday, we have our monthly advisory board meeting at the office, 400 Rockaway Avenue, from 11 to 12:30. Come by, flyers are in the back, come voice your concerns, speak to the council member about whatever's on your mind, whatever's going on. And that's about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure, that's great.
Are there any questions? Any questions for the gentleman? All right, you'll be around to answer, give your information to anyone in the back? Okay, he'll be around in the back if anyone has questions. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. My name is Bianca Stevenson. I'm the community board coordinator for Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso. I was lagging back hoping that he would still be able to make it because he wanted to be here in person today, but he's not here. So just one quick announcement. Of course, everyone knows that the community board members know that the community board application is now closed. So now we're on to appointing for existing members. We're only going to be calling if you had poor attendance during the year. Other than that, you won't be hearing from us in terms of interviews, so you don't have to do that again. The announcement I wanted to make is that, that day of the snowstorm, that was supposed to be the day of the borough president's State of the Borough address. So now that was postponed, and the new date is Wednesday, March 13th. It's at New York City College of Technology, of course, 275 J Street. The borough president is inviting everyone to come, and it's at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, I'll be around, as usual. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Hi, how are you? My name is Claudia Tuodrago. I'm just asking about the applications for the board. So the applications, they were done on the 19th. And if you did apply, when would you be able to hear back on whether or not there's an interview process or what may have you?
Okay, thank you for that question. If you're a new applicant, you will be getting an email within the next 2 weeks. So you would have a short chat or interview with one of our staffers, and we're looking to see the community board members perhaps by mid-April, the announcements will be made.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm sorry?
She said, thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions online or in person? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. First of all, thank you for coming out. And, the other mic, my fault. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Also, brother, I really appreciated that presentation you did in the outreach we were talking about with the program for the mentoring. I didn't know what you were gonna do when you came up with the toy car, but you surprised me, but I'm happy and glad about that. My name is Jeffrey Severe. I'm representing New York City Public Advocate Jumaane D. Williams. Not going to take up too much of your time. Thank you all again for coming out. I know it's not something that's easily done, but I appreciate you all staying committed to your community. One thing I'm going to flag again, until May 31st, it is still heat season. The last time that I was here, I was speaking about some legislation that we had upcoming in the city council, and that was ultimately overridden by the mayor, but I believe that was January 17th. And as of January 29th, that has now been met into law, which is the How Many Stops Act, which is about the reporting requirements for the NYPD, and which we hope will improve public safety by giving us more data and understanding what's unconstitutional, what the NYPD is operating, and to help improve community and police relations, and to understand better off what's happening in our communities. Also, the bill to ban solitary confinement, we also succeeded in overriding that veto from the mayor, and we would hope that within New York City jails that we are no longer practicing a form of isolation that many in the world consider torture, which we also, again, hope will contribute to public safety in a very, very real and meaningful way. Also just want to note that the New York City Public Advocate is on Mondays, every third Monday, I believe. He is on Ask the Advocate. You always have the opportunity to see him. He should be on New York One this weekend with Cheryl Wills for New York One in Focus, I believe. We also will be having our Black History Month event this Monday afternoon, and that will be at 1 Center Street. And I also put this in the chat as well, I hope, which is that we're having a history of Black homeownership in New York City, past, present. And I think that's also helpful to give folks context in some of the things that I've heard here frequently in this community, in the community board meetings, especially as it relates to both zoning and how folks just interact with folks and their neighbors. So again, just be blessed. Thank you all for being here. You are here. I see you. Thank you for everyone online for continuing to show up, and everyone have a blessed evening.
Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, if I didn't call your name, could you please state your name so I could mark you present? If you did not hear your name called. All right, so that means we still don't have quorum. Okay, 1 minute because the legislative session is over. Okay.
One quick thing, I want to thank all of those. We took over almost 300 community members to Albany this past weekend for Association Weekend, 150 youth and 150 adults. They were able to do various workshops, so we took our Vital Voice meeting on the road. So I just want to let you know there's going to be more meetings. We did a free bus, free food. So the next time we'll put that out again. I hope you can join us. It's very important for you to see what's happening in Albany and what your legislators are doing. So I'm glad for. We also did a performance out there as well with the dance team that we won with Dancing with the Stars. So I just wanted to make that quick announcement. So June 3rd will be the next bus trip to Albany. So I'll let y'all know that as well. Thank you for the time.
Is Louis Brown present? Okay, I did ask if you didn't hear your name called, you should, I'll mark you present. I didn't hear you. Thank you. We are still short. We need 24 for quorum, and we only have 22. I know that's taking people. We're still short. All right. The legislative session is closed. Special report.
Hercules Reed here.
Sorry?
Hercules Reed. I don't know if you can hear me.
Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
How you doing? Just a couple quick things. I know often folks are always looking for resources. For instance, it was discussed this evening about how to get MWBE certifications. And so the city has resources. As council member said, the mayor has an office of MWBE. And if you go to mycity.nyc.gov, you can find their actual resources, trainings of that nature that will walk folks through the process of being MWBE certified so that they can be in the runnings for opportunities that arise. Another website resource link, DYCD. This one link has access to youth and after school programs for our young people. Sometimes we're looking for things for them to do. This actual link, you could put in your address and it will tell you exactly where in the neighborhood there are after school programs or opportunities. And so it has youth and after school programs, educational services, housing support, family support, jobs and internship opportunities, community service opportunities, and immigrant services. And this link, this website is Discover DYCD. So Discover DYCD dot DYCDconnect.nyc. So that's Discover DYCD dot DYCDconnect.nyc and NYC.
If you could put
I
that
will-
into the chat, that would be
I will
extremely helpful.
definitely put this into the chat.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, and seeing none, that concludes, unless there's someone else, that concludes the legislative session, special report. And what's the special report? Does anyone have? So no one, okay. All right, unfinished business? Nope. All right, old business? No old business. New business? No new business. Terrific. If there's no new business, I'm gonna need somebody to. No, I said it like twice, that we don't have quorum. We need 24 to have quorum, we've only got 21. So we can't do. Do we have a second? All right, the meeting. Unfortunately, because we do not have quorum, we cannot conduct business, and so the meeting is adjourned. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Hold on, I think,